MULN stock is sinking fast, but there are some huge things that people are missing. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. You might be seeing all the talk right now about MULN doing a third reverse stock split, but this is only a small part of a massive problem. This is only the tip of the iceberg. Since yesterday, most people are now declaring MULN stock to be a scam, but in this video, I'm about to share the truly horrific truth about this stock, and near the end of this video, I will reveal the disturbing history of MULN CEO David Michery. So stick around until the end of the video. If you believe in this company at all, then you need to see this. It takes a lot of time to do this research, so smash the thumbs up. It literally costs nothing, but it helps me out so much. I'm aiming to get 400 likes on this video. Help me make that happen. Ever since my very first Mullen Automotive video, I have correctly called everything that was going to happen, so subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on important information. Now let's get into it. So yesterday, Mullen Automotive filed a Schedule 14A document with the SEC announcing notice of a special meeting of stockholders to be held on December 15th. Now, if you're watching this video, you'd already be aware of this, and the purpose of this special meeting of shareholders is for proposal number 1 to approve a reverse stock split of the company's outstanding common stock at an exchange ratio between 1-for-2 and 1-for-100, as determined by the company's board of directors. And of course, the purpose of the reverse stock split will be to obtain and maintain a continued price of at least $1 per share in an effort to not get kicked off NASDAQ. Now, if you're not already aware of this, this is the third reverse stock split that Mullen Automotive has performed over the past 6 months. The first reverse stock split was in June for 1-for-25. The second reverse stock split was 1-for-9, and now they are proposing an up to 1-for-100 split. So what exactly does this mean? Well, first of all, I was one of the people that was very surprised that Mullen Automotive only performed a 1-for-9 reverse stock split back in September. I made a video where I talked about this, and I said at the time that this would never be enough to keep this stock above $1. And of course, within only a matter of days, the stock had dropped back below $1 and is currently as low as 24 cents. But what I will show you next is what is really shocking. This is the data that nobody is really talking about and pointing out just how much retail have been robbed blind by Mullen Automotive. So if we scroll down here, I think it's page 14. So here we are, page 14. We can see here very clear that the outstanding common stock of Mullen Automotive right now is 287 million shares. Now let's remember that this is a company that back in July announced a share buyback program up to the value of $25 million. So instead of diluting like they had been doing for the past 2 years, they were actually going to buy back some of these shares and bring the outstanding share count down. Or at least that was the story that Mullen Automotive was spreading to retail investors to pump up the stock. After all, this was only 6 days after the June 30th deadline for the latest 10Q, which would show the Mullen Automotive had an outstanding share count of 27.7 million shares. On August 11th, the company did a 1-for-9 reverse split, which means that this 27.7 million shares after the 1-for-9 was about 3 million shares. But as of yesterday's filing, the company now has 287 million shares outstanding, from 3 million shares up to 287 million in the space of just 4 months. Now, every time I look at this company, every time I look at this level of dilution, I say the exact same thing. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. There's stocks on the market that do reverse stock splits and dilution, and then more reverse splits and more dilution, but I've never seen a company do it at the scale of Mullen Automotive. This is daylight robbery on retail investors. Now, guys, if you're one of these people that believes in this company or believes in this CEO, David Michery, then drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts on what is going on at the moment. Like, in my opinion, this is absolute insanity. And it gets so much worse. It gets so much worse when you look at just how invested David Michery and the rest of the Mullen Automotive directors really are. Remember that these are the guys that are constantly putting out press releases, talking about manipulation of the stock and saying that they're about to turn the corner. They have all this good stuff going on. They're going to produce these vehicles and everything is going to be fantastic. But just look at how much investment they really have. Just look at how invested they really are and how much they believe in their own company. How much they truly believe in their own hype. As of yesterday's SEC filing, we can see it right here. David Michery has 1.3 million shares, and the rest of the board own a combined 6,000 shares between them. Now let that sink in for a moment. David Michery, the CEO of Mullen Automotive, literally owns less than $500,000 worth of the company, and the rest of the board own less than $2,000 between them. $2,000 worth of stock between the entire board of directors. Now guys, I know there's a lot of you watching this video that own more shares in Mullen Automotive than the entire board of directors. For a fact, there's people posting on Twitter every single day, just ordinary people, just like me and you, ordinary retail investors that are buying up thousands of shares at a time, and each time, this is more and more than the entire board of directors owns, which is an unbelievable situation to be in. But how exactly does David Michery own so little of MULN stock? After all, one of the major criticisms of David Michery over the past 2 years is that he has handsomely awarded himself with bonus performance shares on numerous occasions. And this is simply incredible when you actually look at the numbers. Like looking at David Michery's past insider trading of MULN stock, we can see it here. Between September 2022 and February of 2023, which is less than a 6-month period, David Michery was awarded over $100 million worth of stock. And we can clearly see that he is disposing of this stock as quick as he is getting it. Like, look at this. 20 million shares acquired, 20 million shares disposed of. 5 million shares disposed of, 12 million shares disposed of, 17 million shares disposed of. This is millions and millions of dollars. This is a man who has literally made $100 million out of Mullen Automotive over the past year in bonus shares alone, never mind his extraordinary salary, which is something that I'm not getting into in this video because that is absolutely ridiculous. As ridiculous as it is that he gets bonus shares for running this stock into the ground, he gets paid an unbelievable salary on top of that. But for all his millions of shares that he's been awarded, he now owns less than $500,000 worth of stock. So does this really look like the sort of man who believes in his company? Does this look like the sort of ownership percentages that you would expect from a CEO of a NASDAQ listed stock? One that is constantly saying that Mullen is going to be great? Does this look like a man who truly believes in Mullen Automotive and a board of directors that truly believes in this company? Or have these guys been playing retail and draining the money from retail non-stop for 18 months? So with the news of the latest reverse stock split, do you think that these guys should all be fired? Or worse, should they be in jail? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Oh, and in case you don't think that that is bad enough, Mullen Automotive, the company that is currently worth $44 million market cap, has paid in capital of $1.95 billion. Now, if you don't know what this is, paid in capital is the full amount of cash that shareholders have given a company in exchange for stock. That is the actual definition of paid in capital. This means that the company is currently valued at just 0.002% of all the money that retail investors have pumped in. Yes, you've heard that correctly. 0.002. This is a 25 cents penny stock with a loss per share of $55 per share. Mullen Automotive, a company worth $50 million, has made a net loss of $800 million in just 9 months this year. And for those of you that believe that Mullen's going to start production, once they're producing vehicles and making some sales, that everything is going to be fine, they have sold some vehicles already. They sold $308,000 worth of vehicles. $308,000 and made an $800 million loss. If they ramp up production, they're going to ramp up costs. The margins on what they do sell is nowhere near what is needed. No company is producing the sort of margins that Mullen need to offset their losses. No company out there is capable of that. So I guess the big question now is, what's next for Mullen Automotive? Or a better question is Mullen Automotive just a scam? And if you want to know my opinion about this, or whether or not Mullen Automotive is a scam, then watch either of the two videos from the end screen at the end of this video. Back several months ago, I showed everyone very clearly this stock was going to drop like a rock. I showed everyone that the people involved in Mullen are going to bleed the average retail investors for everything they have, just like they have done numerous occasions with numerous stocks. So at the end, click on one of the two videos that are linked. You'll see them on the left-hand, right-hand side of the screen. So let's look now at what's coming next for MULN stock. Now, a lot of people don't seem to know this, but back before David Michery was the CEO of Mullen Automotive, he ran numerous other penny stock schemes. Some of these were NASDAQ listed companies such as 7 Arts Entertainment, ticker symbol SAPX. Now, if you've never heard of this company, that's probably for good reason. Not many people have. David Michery resigned from 7 Arts Entertainment in November 2012, so over 10 years ago. The same year that David Michery purchased Mullen Automotive from Arthur Allen. Yes, guys, for those of you that think David Michery started Mullen Automotive from the ground up, no. He just bought a failing car company on the cheap. Anyways, as we can see here, 7 Arts Entertainment never recovered after David Michery's resignation. This company is currently trading on the OTC at 0.0004. The stock is down from an all-time high of over $4 million per share. $4 million per share. Now let's face it, this stock was never anywhere near this price. This is a result of constant dilution and constant reverse splits. As I said, David Michery resigned from 7 Arts Entertainment in November 2012. But prior to this, the company did reverse splits. He did 2 1-for-5 reverse splits in 2009 and 2011, and then they did a 1-for-70 split on the 4th of September 2012. But they were still delisted from NASDAQ 10 days later on September 14th. And less than 2 months later, David Michery is forced to resign and now has time to concentrate on his other ventures. And there is a lot of these other ventures. They tell mainly the same story. There's a lot of really pissed off investors, and you will see this if you dig deep. Now, this is something that I found on Reddit, which is really good because it shows a long list of David Michery's former stocks, and they all tell the same tale. American Music Corporation, 7 Arts, Primco Management, Eat Sleep Media Group, American Southwest Music Distribution, and Shades Holdings. They all have the same story, lots of dilution, a series of reverse stock splits, and over time they were all ran into the ground. So is history repeating itself once again for David Michery, and this time at Mullen Automotive? Now, I really love what is written here because this is true. It took a lot of digging to find bits and pieces of information about David Michery, because when we look at Mullen's website or even David's LinkedIn, it doesn't say a whole lot. It just says that he's a very successful entrepreneur and he has a history of loads of company successes, but it doesn't list what any of them are. So I love what's written here. He has scrubbed as much as he can from the internet, but the internet has a long memory. It's all there if you dig hard enough. And let's face it, digging for the truth is what I love to do. I'm going to put a link to this in the description below, guys. So if anyone wants to click on this and have a quick read of this, or pause the video right now and just read what it says. And do a quick search for these companies. See what you can find. See what history you can dig up. And then ask yourself, do you believe that this is the CEO, that this is the board of directors that can actually turn this company around? Or have they been playing retail right from the very beginning, just like with these other stocks? So now, if you've not already done so, like and subscribe. This channel is one of the only channels on YouTube that has constantly spread the truth about stocks over the past 2 years. For anyone who truly believes in Mullen Automotive and truly believes in this CEO and that he can turn it around, then you really need to watch these 2 videos that are appearing on the screen right now. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what is going on at Mullen Automotive right now. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you in the next update.